Hey guys, welcome to Gaslands TV. Today we're going to be using this plastic cover here that I got. I think it was for headphones if I'm not mistaken, or no, maybe it was a scale or whatever, a cooking scale. But yeah, we're going to use this and we're going to cut out the edges here because it has a pretty cool shape. And I have this soap pump here, handle here. Maybe this kind of looks like a toilet bowl. But actually maybe we're gonna do some maybe like a water pump or something, like a water I don't know, filtration system, or this is where, like, you know, they get fresh water in the wastelands or whatever. The glue is doing some weird stuff here, like it's not going down straight. It's, look at that, that's probably some kind of static or something like that. But here I'm using Gorilla White glue, and if you've been following me, you know that that glue kind of expands and everything, and it gets really cool. And I'm going to use a wire here to actually put it in the little opening of that soap pump, and that's going to give me kind of like the flow of something flowing, so it's going to give some motion to this piece of terrain here. And you know what, I'm going to add even more glue here, bubble up this thing, so it's going to probably look a little bit more realistic. And you could use this really cheap Amazon school glue here, and I'm gonna just fill this up. I should have filled it up a little bit more because this does dry and shrink. But once I covered it up with some scotch tape and some cardboard, I spray painted it white, primed it white, and once we take off this cover here, see how the glue kind of shrank a little bit and got into a weird shape and everything like that. But once it's painted, it's gonna look good. So for some of the spots here that I can't actually get to because the spray couldn't get to it or whatever, I'm just gonna use some white and fill in the little spots that I missed here. And I think these two pieces of terrain, I'm gonna do this one and the next one. It's gonna be part of a story, and we'll see where we go with that. Now I'm going to take off all this tape that I put on this metal looking soap dispenser, and that looks pretty good. So for here, instead of some water, some clear water, we're going to go with some coffee color or antique wax brown here. So let's do it, ooh, look at that color. Let's do it more like sewer water. You know, maybe the faction has this water filtering system and it's not working very well. Water's not coming out as pure as it should. So one of the factions is going to have this this piece of terrain here, and the other faction is going to have the next piece of terrain, which I'm going to do in my channel. So make sure to subscribe to see the other terrain, and these two factions are going to be fighting over these water filtration systems. So it's always fun to make, like, you know, some storyline that goes with your terrain. And for here, I'm just gonna splash a little bit because the water is splashing down. So just put a bit of paint on your brush and flick it on the edges here. If ever you want to do splashes or weathering marks or whatever, it's the easiest way. Just flick your brush and lift as you're flicking, and it's going to give you some pretty cool splash effect over here. Turn your brush sideways. I'm going to do this stream up here, the little bubbles that the glue did, a little bit on the pipe because it's splashing. So that looks pretty good or bad depending on how you look at it. And you know what, actually maybe there's some leaking here too. Let's make some of this sewer water leak out of these joints here all around the soap dispenser cap here. And even there you could do a little flicking. And oh, my wife brought me some coffee, which wasn't very appetizing while I'm doing this terrain, but coffee is good. It's hydration. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And when there's a little bit of paint left on your brush, you could just flick it on the edges of your piece of terrain here, dirty it up. Again, on the edges, go up and down. Just flick your brush and it's gonna give some pretty cool dirt look and water splashing or leaking or rusting. And I'm gonna do the whole top here. There's only very little paint on the brush. Just dry brushing whatever there is. Once in a while I'll put a little bit at the tip and dirty that up. And now we're gonna put a little bit of yellow. Let's add some yellow to this brown. You know, little maybe pieces of corn that was harvested and went bad, so they dumped it in the water, and now it's coming out of the pipe here because it was way too brown, and just one color is never really nice. You want to add different colors to things and give it a little bit of a shine or a highlight or a different color. And this paint is actually watered down. It's made for airbrush, so it's pretty good if you want to just add some tint to something that you're doing. And if you're going to be doing some brown wastewater, a little bit of this watered down yellow looks pretty good. Yeah, not bad. That looks gross enough. Maybe a little bit splashed here on the side by accident, you know. Maybe a few drops like this, because that happens, as you all know. And gonna get some orange to rust up the pipe, the soap dispenser. And since it's terrain, I'm not going to use any fancy orange. I bought this big jug of orange, and it's going to do the job. It's going to rust this little metal piece here, especially that it's not been primed. It's going to kind of not stick too well, which is good for rust. And here we're going to put a bit on the, where the metal touches and meets up with other metal. There's always rust there, and just dry brush the rest onto the metal piece, make it look really dirty. And I like to use these gloves here to tap on the paint a little bit. It gives it a nice little texture and realism. It's very subtle, but just tap your finger on it. It's gonna remove excess paint and do a nice little texture. So I'm gonna use a Good Luck margarine right here.
Years ago, most people never dreamed of eating margarine, but times have changed. Nowadays, you can get a margarine like the new Good Luck, which really tastes delicious. That's what I've spread on my toast. Good Luck. I thoroughly enjoy it.
The margarine Mrs. Roosevelt has just recommended is new Good Luck, the light margarine. Good Luck is light in flavor, light on your tongue, and leaves no oily aftertaste.
Basically telling you good luck after eating this margarine. So I think it's perfect for this little piece of terrain here. Now, as you all know, if you do watch my other videos, I am an expert at water slides. So I already screwed up the K there, as you can see, from Good Luck. And I'm going to expertly place this on my terrain here with a Q-tip and tweezers, and look at that. Look how perfectly straight that was. And now for this one, I'll show you how fast I can actually do this. Watch this. And with just some tweezers here, once you have it in water, you get it off of that cardboard, you try to put it back onto the cardboard. Then you want to take a sponge and scissors and try to pick it up with scissors and a sponge. Even a spoon also works. And just put it back in the water when it's on the spoon. Then try the other side of the spoon, because that curve is better. And if that's not working for you, you can try a knife. Knife is always good. You could put it on a knife and then like kind of use the two sides of your Q-tip and maybe go back on tweezers. And the spoon has to have a little bit of water in it when you're doing it, so that when you place it, the water kind of makes it easy to move around. And as you can see, the K there is underneath the C, which is a very cool looking thing if you want to do some weird lettering. And if you missed it the first time, like I'm just going to show you, like I would leave this because it's perfect, but just in case you missed it and it didn't go the way you wanted to, you could always use tweezers to try to get that letter out. And if that's not working, like maybe a Q-tip could also work. If that's not working, you know, there's so many methods I can teach you on how to do this, but you could put it back in the water, get a nice spoonful of it, make sure there's a lot of water in the spoon there, and just put it on your piece of terrain. Super easy stuff, guys. I mean, I don't even need to show you this on video. It's that easy. And then with a Q-tip, you know, you can move it around, make it as straight as possible, and after a good amount of time, you should have it stuck on there. And I appreciate your like and subscribe, because as you can see, it's a lot of effort and work. But now we're going to do some graffiti, and I'm going to use some purple here, make some letters, and I'm obviously going to write Gaslands TV on this. But you could write whatever you want, and I like to touch the letters together, make all the letters touch together. And then I'm going to go with Peacock Pearl here. It's kind of like a aqua pearl color, and I'm just going to write the TV with that. And pearl paint is actually really hard to paint with. There's kind of weird liquid in it, or pigment, and it doesn't stick very well. You need to do like a few coats and stuff like that. So when you're dealing with pearl, you might want to put quite a bit of paint on your brush. Make sure there's enough there so that it doesn't get too transparent, and it takes a while to dry because you're putting a lot. But let's let it dry there and work on something else. I kind of don't like the edges here. It's like not very straight and ugly and stuff like that. So maybe try to like hide it or cover it up with some you could use this. It's like used for miniature base, making, you know, some sand or rock flooring, or you could use this big thing, Ashland's decorative filler, and there's a bunch of different styles here. I have this one, it's black, kind of looks like asphalt, which is pretty cool. In my previous video I used a sand looking one, and I bought a few different ones. So what you want to do is put some glue at the bottom here, school glue. Oh, I think I just touched my graffiti with the tip of the glue. I did a little mark on the G there, and it's okay. It's not bad. It's Gaslands, so that's fine. Let's pinch some of this Ashlands filler onto the glue that I put there, and I'm just gonna put that all around, and whatever falls off goes back into the jar. So I'm just gonna put glue all around the base here and sprinkle some of this stuff on it, and it's gonna give it more of a uniform once you put it on your table, your miniature table, kind of not see all those weird cuts that you might have done with scissors and stuff like that. So that looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna add a bit of this. This is Naturals Ashland Moss, looks like weed.
Burning behind me is 8.5 tons of heroin, opium, hashish and other narcotics.
And yeah, you don't want to be standing there while it's burning. I'm going to put a bit of this, a little bit all over the piece of terrain here. Just a little bit of glue, and put some of that moss there, and it's going to give it a nice little realistic I guess bush or something growing, some vines growing out of there, who knows, right? A bit on the top here, just randomly on the piece of terrain, and that looks like it's coming along pretty nicely. And now we're going to come back here to the graffiti that's probably dry now, and just with a Sharpie I'm going to go all around the graffiti, and I'm just going to fast forward this part and gives it a nice little graffiti look. Just close all your shapes. I'm actually pretty happy with the N that came out there. It kind of looks 3D-ish, and I always have a hard time doing N, but it came out nice there. You could add some black on the sides, give it some 3D-ness to it. I'm not a really good graffiti artist, but if you put a bit of that paint on your brush again, the color of your graffiti, and then just dry brush it downwards, it's going to look like water kind of made some of that paint leak downwards off your graffiti. Another little layer of realism if you want to do that. This would have probably been easier before putting those little black decorative fillers, but yeah, it looks pretty good, and it's shiny. It's a nice piece of graffiti, and I think that's pretty much it. There's not much more that I'm gonna do to this piece, and I hope you learned something watching this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm really close to getting YouTube to monetize me, so I really appreciate all the like and subscribes. If you're looking for anything like dice or gates to play Gaslands, we have some on the Etsy page. We've got some 3D printed stuff like guns, rams, pipes, engines, and they come in this really cool container that you can use to carry your dice or cars or use as terrain. We got flamethrowers, fire effects, which I've used in previous builds, and they look amazing. And we also have a Gaslands TV Facebook page, so make sure to join us there and post some cool pictures. Come and see what everybody is doing at the Gaslands TV Facebook page. And thanks for watching. Take a look at this other video, and I'll see you guys next time.